Hey guys, the year's officially half over, so it's now time for what I call Grant the Movie and TV Guys Midterm Report. The best and worst movies from the first half of 2021. Now, some ground rules. Movies that's initial theatrical or streaming release date is between January 1st and June 30th that I've now seen will qualify. For anything from July 1st to December 31st qualifies for the end of the year list, okay? So if you're like, where's Summer of Soul? Where's No Sudden Move? Well, maybe they'll be on another list. They technically came out in July. So, before we begin the best of, we're going to start with the best of. You're going to begin with a few honorable mentions. We're going to run through these real quick because I want to get enough time. There's actually quite a few movies to talk about. So, honorable mentions. The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, a really charming little time travel, time loop movie. Enjoyable, didn't quite make the cut. Boss Level. Loved this film, thought it was a blast. Still didn't quite make the cut. Happily, a really sharp satire on domesticity that was really good but just didn't quite make the cut. Bad Trip, a hilarious prank movie starring Eric Andre that I loved and will definitely go back to. Just didn't quite make this. Godzilla vs. Kong. Blast, didn't make the cut. Voyagers, a movie that I was in a minority of seemingly only one person, which was me, who loved this film. Still didn't quite make the cut. Wrath of Man, good. Loved Jason Statham, didn't quite make the cut. Army of the Dead, had a good time, didn't quite make the cut. And Cruella, a movie that was so much better than it needed to be, but just barely missed out on the final bracket. But what did make it? Well, let's go. Okay, so it makes sense to start this list with probably the best movie on it. And that is, of course, I don't rank my children, best or worst. I just put them on the list. And that is Nomadland, directed by Chloe Zhao. This movie was a life-changing film, a really charming film about the people who have been left behind by the world, and it's about it finding yourself, and it's this really moving, poetic, quiet little film about dignity and humanity, and it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work. The Academy recognizes it as such, even though it came out this January when it gave it the Best Picture win. Very well deserved. Go see Nomadland. Next up is one of the scariest films of this year, or maybe this century, Saint Maud, directed by Rose Glass. This movie has been flying under a lot of radars, but it seems to be picking up steam now that it's on Amazon Prime. I hope it stays there for a while. More people need to see Saint Maud. It's wonderful, terrifying film about religious zealotry and how it can break down the psychology of a human being. A beautiful piece of work. Directed by Rose Glass, it's called Saint Maud. Judas and the Black Messiah, directed by Shaka King. This movie is electrifying. It tells a deeply powerful story about betrayal and friendship between the two guys that uses its biblical parallel to a really relevant topic about the Black Panther movement and the treatment by society of those people. And the way they treat each other within their own ranks. A beautiful piece of work. With a terrific Oscar-winning performance from Daniel Kaluuya and an equally terrific Oscar-nominated performance from Lakeith Stanfield. Great film. Getting to the best. Minari, directed by Lee Isaac Chung. Another quiet, beautiful piece of work about dignity and family. Stephen Yeun is fantastic. The little boy who plays David is a wonder. The woman who won the Oscar for the grandmother role was amazing. A deeply moving portrait of the immigrant experience. Check out Minari. Alright. One of the wackiest and funniest comedies of the entire year is our next film, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. Directed by Josh Greenbaum. I love this film. I've already seen it twice. I own the movie. Don't have time to get it, but I own the film on Blu-ray. I love this film. One of also the best comic performances of the year, of the last couple years, by Jamie Dornan. That's right, Christian Grey. Who knew? Terrific performance. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Dornan. Very funny. Don't miss Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. Speaking of funny movies that totally surprised me, the next film is one that might surprise people. Oh, Josh Greenbaum, by the way, directed Barb and Star. This one might surprise people. It's a Disney film, a live-action Disney film, no less, and that film is Flora and Ulysses, directed by Lena Khan. And apparently I'm not the only one. I've talked to family members of mine who are watching it without their children, whose children are grown, who think it's hilarious. This movie is really funny. It's a cartoony movie, but it's a cartoony movie that works. It also has sweet characters. You really care about the younger characters and the adult characters, and the squirrel is pretty adorable too. Flora and Ulysses is directed by Lena Khan. The next film is one of the best and most searing satires on horrible people and how they exploit the individuals, especially the elderly, and that is I Care a Lot. This film is directed by Jay Blakeson and features a terrific turn that was more than worthy of an Oscar nomination by Rosamund Pike as the just insatiably awful woman who exploits the elderly and has no shame about it, who meets her match in an equally terrific Diane Wiest. Great film. Another film is, in a year of great movies about musicians, this is one of those films, and one of the very best ones, and that is Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, which is also one of the most popular videos on my channel. Thanks, guys. Which is directed by this guy. Oh, Jay Blakeson, by the way, did I Care a Lot. Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, directed by R.J. Cutler. And this film is not simply a look at the star, it's a look at her psychology, and it's a look at her as a human being. It is insane how much this young woman lets us into her day-to-day world and her struggles. And it's not just... Even if you don't know who Billie Eilish is, you will love this film, because it's a moving subject of the self-doubt that can entrench young people even in the public eye. It's called Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry. It's on Apple TV+, directed by R.J. Cutler. Go check it out. It's long, but it's worth your time. The Father, directed by Florian Zeller. A moving portrait of mental illness. It goes, not mental illness, rather, but, well, I guess mental illness. It's, dementia. It goes hand in hand with the terrific film from last year, Relic. It's a beautiful piece of work. Anthony Hopkins delivering a truly Oscar-worthy and Oscar-winning performance. Terrific film. Another film that might surprise people. Next film, a film that I thought was going to get a lot of hate on, but no one really responded to, and that was Moxie! Exclamation point. Directed by Amy Poehler. I love this film. I feel like I'm in the minority. I love this film. I love the characters. I thought that it had a good message. Josephine Langford delivered a stealthy kind of great supporting turn as someone who probably was damaged the worst by the corruptness, the corrupt treatment of the young women in this high school. She's terrific, and she finally has had a role worthy of comparison to her big sister, Catherine Langford. Great film. Next film, in a year of great animation, this is one of the many great ones, and that is Raya and the... Amy Poehler directed Moxie. Raya and the Last Dragon. This is directed by a who's who. It's directed by Don Hall, Carlos Lopez Estrada, Paul Briggs, and John Ripa. Raya and the Last Dragon is a beautiful film. It's beautifully shot, beautifully animated, and a beautiful mythology. Great film. We gotta blow through these now. Next film is a film entitled that a lot of people didn't see but should check out now that it's on home video, and that is Long Weekend. This is directed by Steve Basilone, who liked my review of the film after I saw it on Letterboxd. Thanks, Steve Basilone. A really endearing, supernaturally tinged love story with terrific performances from Finn Wittrock. Beautiful piece of work. Next film is a film that might pass you by or seem too familiar, but give it a go. It's called The Courier. It's directed by Dominic Cooke. It's an English thriller, basically the English Bridge of Spies. It's a terrific film with a terrific performance from Benedict Cumberbatch about how friendship, essentially, and two men who are strangers but who bond with one another can save the world. It's called The Courier. It's directed by Dominic Cooke. Next film is the best action film of 2021 so far, and it's a film that on paper sounds ridiculous, but on screen is ridiculous in a most wonderful and hilarious way, and that is Nobody, directed by Ilya Naschler. Take a little bit of John Wick, maybe a CBS sitcom starring Steve Odekirk, and cross it with a history of violence, you have Nobody. It's a hilarious, wild ride featuring the best team-up ever between Bob Odenkirk, the RZA, and Christopher Lloyd as an entire family of badasses. Go see Nobody. It's directed by Ilya Naschler. Next film is one of the best horror films of the year that's not really a horror film, and that is Shiva Baby. It's directed by Emma Seligman, who is younger than I am and yet has made one of the very best films of the year. It's a very funny, sometimes moving, often terrifying film, comedy of awkwardness and secrets, with a stand-up performance from Rachel Sennett and another great supporting turn from the great young character actress, Molly Nelson. What's her name? Oh my god, I forgot her name. She was AAA from Booksmart. I can't remember her name right now. She's terrific. Alright, sorry. This is real smart. Another terrific indie comedy, Together. This is directed by Nicole Beckwith. A beautiful film about friendship, where it's a rom-com story, but with friendship. Terrific work from Ed Helms, as well as Patty Harrison, who delivers star-making work in this film. It's a moving story. Our next film is a film that I wasn't really that equipped to review, but never watched the show, but I kind of loved it, and that was Demon Slayer, the movie Mugen Train. This is directed by Haru Sodazaki, and it's not much to say, just a beautifully animated, just painterly beautiful action bananas ride. I loved it. Next film is one of the best documentaries of the year, and that is Street Gang, How We Got to Sesame Street. It's directed by Marilyn Agrello. Beautiful story about the creation of Sesame Street that'll leave you a nervous wreck and make you cry your eyes out. Next film is another great animated feature, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, one of the funniest films of the year and also one of the most moving. It's directed by Mike Rianda and Jeff Rowe, and it is an incredibly imaginative story about family bonding and technology run amok. Check out The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Our next film is a terrific film that only real fault was its distribution, which was on basic television. It was an MTV original film picked up from a festival, and that film is Pink Skies Ahead. It's directed by Kelly Oxford. It's a beautiful look at a young woman struggling with mental health struggles, anxiety, that I related to on a deeply personal level. It's a moving film. Our next film is one of the best and most unsung thrillers of the year, and that is Profile. It's directed by Timur Bekmambetov, and it is a screen life film about a real story about the journey to capture the leader of a terrorist, ISIS-type organization that ends up having unintended consequences for a young journalist. It's an incredibly frightening film. Okay. Our next film is a perfect example of a formula done right, and that is Dream Horse. It's directed by Euros Lyn, and more people should have seen it. Beautiful film about a beautiful horse who did beautiful things. That's all I'll say. A lot of these reviews are up. The next film is one of the best sequels of all time. It's A Quiet Place Part 2. It's directed by John Krasinski, a terrifying film with one of the best opening sequences ever. Next film is one of the funniest comedies of the year also, and that is Plan B. It's directed by Natalie Morales, who liked my comment on the film. Thank you, Natalie Morales. A beautiful, raunchy teen sex romp about a group of girls' journey to find proper birth control in the American heartland after a party gone sour. Very funny flick. Directed not for kids, but very funny. By Natalie Morales. The next film is one of the best experimental art films of the century, and it's also apparently a stand-up comedy special, and that is Bo Burnham Inside, which is my most popular video. Thanks, guys. Directed by Bo Burnham. Not much to say that I haven't already said in my video. It's a masterpiece. Go watch it. Our next film is the shortest film on this list and one of the very best, and it also was shot the longest ago in 1973, and that is The Amusement Park, directed by George A. Romero. Beautiful study in aging and the hell that the elderly go through on a daily basis. Our next film is one of the best films of the summer. Gotta hurry. In the Heights, directed by John M. Chu. Seen it twice already. Love it even more the second time. A little bit controversial film that didn't really deserve it. It's a moving, funny film. Next film is not one of Pixar's best, but it's still pretty good. Luca, directed by Enrico Casarosa. Beautiful story of friendship and othering that really, really works. Fatherhood, directed by Paul Weitz. I'm in the minority. I don't care. This is a moving story about a father and a daughter overcoming adversity. Great film. One of the best music documentaries of the year, The Sparks Brothers, directed by Edgar Wright. One of the best music documentaries of all time. Coming to the end now. I just watched the best video game movie ever, and boy is it, Werewolves Within, directed by Josh Rubin. Funny, funny, funny. Knives Out with a werewolf that is totally fun. A little long at the beginning, but it works. The last film is the last film I watched in June, and I watched it this week, and that was Zola, one of the best films about social media ever. It's directed by Janixa Bravo. And A24 is at it again with a, I think, Oscar-worthy supporting turn from Riley Keough. Last little honorable mention. I did watch Olivia Rodrigo's Sour Prom. I loved it. It's only 27 minutes. That's why it's not on this list, but I praise you, Olivia Rodrigo, and I praise your filming teams. We'll be back with The Worst Of coming up next for part 2. So stay tuned for 2 where we go through The Worst Of, which will be a lot shorter. That'll be next time, and until next time, I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy. Go see all these films. They're all probably available now. I see it all. I'm happy to share it with you. Also, all my reviews are in my playlist of the new releases of 2021 if you want to look it up. And I will put even a list of these films in there, a special playlist for this. I'll see you next time. And until next time, Grant the Movie TV guy. See it all. I'm happy to share it with you. See you in part 2. Love you all. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Class Smith, 2000. Be kind to one another. Go watch all these movies. Thank you all. Take care. See you soon. Bye.